Sack Life, beat depression is day 632, and you know what we're about to do. Get into another Muay Thai knee session to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here now. Anyone who's tuning in later, as you know, this show is based on mental health first, martial arts for mental health. That's what we're doing out here. Our focus is always going to be about mental health first, because without it, nothing else matters. So, talking about mental health, the first and most powerful tool that we use, not most powerful, but a very powerful tool that we use, gets more powerful over time, is gratitude. Gratitude going out today. Mad with Hats for being the first one here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Gratitude today also going out to I Am Carlson, to Antonio Lama, and to Chris Hansen out there at Karate Unity. Antonio Lama on his rooftop sky dojo doing sweet moves and singing them up to our beat depression beats. Our beats that beat depression. We're going to get an album at some point. But if you are a martial artist out there and you'd like to help us raise awareness to these free mental health tools that we're providing others with on that webpage, they get access to information, education, motivation, inspiration, and free tools, free shows, live show every day. We've got the mobile Beat Depression bus. It will be back in depression fighting action soon. So we can bring all those things to people for free by simply using music, right? Using the power of music. Now that it's now that we're up there on Spotify as a published artist, sacklifeofficial.com, that website brings people to those tools. So I've got a challenge going out right now, the Beats Depression Challenge. If you are a martial artist or you're doing some cool intense training or some mental health based training even, and you'd like to sync it up with some of those beats, all you got to do is use that music tab on Spotify, the Spotify music tab on Instagram, and search sacklifeofficial.com, and then post up a training video with one of our official beats, and it will automatically raise awareness to those free tools. And that's why I'm shouting out gratitude to Antonio Lama, Chris Hansen, and I Am Carlson out there for being the first ones. And Carlson, even before it was a thing, was doing it just because he's awesome. Cool dude. Check him out. They're all cool dudes. Chris Hansen, Antonio, I've only known a short while, but man, such good energy, such good positive social support out here in the martial arts community. I am truly grateful to know those few, and to know you guys, to be, as we slowly become mental health warriors, wiping out depression from every inch of the nation, station to station. That being said, think about your pieces of gratitude today. That'll put you in a positive mindset as we move into today's lesson. Second mental health tool we're going to talk about is your list tool. I hope you're keeping track of the number of days that you've made progress and success, the number of days you've consecutively trained. It's been 632 days of consecutive training for me, showing you what's possible out here, right? I'm no better than anybody else. We're all made of the same stuff. We're all human beings out here, and I never thought this was possible. I had no idea I wouldn't have any idea that I'm this far unless I kept track of it. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show you guys where you can show yourself how much progress you can make. Not only what you have made, but how much you can look forward to in the future, because every day that you fight forwards, you can get stronger. You can literally prepare yourself to handle the challenges of today, the challenges of tomorrow, and the next day, and know with factual proof that you are strong enough to overcome any kind of blue period or anything that is telling you otherwise. So please do keep track of that number. That is your progress tool, your list tool. That's another powerful mental health tool. The more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. And share the number if you'd like to inspire others to do the same. Mike EXE, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Mike. So we talked about our gratitude tool. We talked about our list tool. And now we're going to get into today's lesson. We're always using that visualization tool. That's a powerful one too. We visualize that physical embodiment of the thing that we want to work on. So we visualize that dummy and then assign them a name. If it's the depression dummy or the anxiety dummy, either one of those is good because they base their power on lies. And in here we find the truth about ourselves and how much we can overcome those lies every single day. So visualize your centralized target in the form of a man or woman, if you'd like, and name that dummy the depression dummy or the anxiety dummy. Shout out to my mom, Carol Paradox. Appreciate you, Mom. Love you. Thank you for tuning in. So today we're going to talk about that depression dummy. And what are we going to do? We're going to go through some of our basics, right? The jab cross. We're going to keep that in there just to keep it flowing and keep it accessible. But we're also going to make this very much about knees and switching stance and kind of adapting to different situations out here. So I'm going to get those tunes going, the tunes we mentioned earlier. If you want to sync up your routine, you can help us raise awareness with the power of music simply by adding that song to one of your videos, and then we'll repost you on the main page so we can all benefit and all support each other's growth. So We're going to be punching to Stranger Beats. That's the newest one out. And shout out to Lance in the trance. Appreciate you, buddy. We're going to be working from Muay Thai stance in orthodox position. We're going to be tossing that jab and cross. We're going to be moving a lot. Moving in, moving out, further away, closer to our target, horizontally as well. And you want to remember, when you're moving as a fighter, you don't want your feet to come together. You don't want your feet to cross over. You always want to keep that balance nice and centered. Chin tucked, everything in the center line. Nice balanced stance. That balanced Muay Thai position. And speaking of position, let me change this camera a little bit. Bam. So you can see the feet a little more. So we're going to be in our balanced Muay Thai position. When we move forwards, front foot leads, rear foot follows. Front foot leads, rear foot follows. Sinking on the knees will make this a little bit easier, and keeping everything evenly spaced. Front foot leads, rear foot follows. Boom, boom. When we're going back, rear foot leads, front foot follows. Left, same thing. Right, same thing. Boom, boom. So that's how we move like a fighter. Now, in that stance, we're going to be tossing some measuring jabs as we go. As we continue to move with that beat, just kind of flowing with it. Measuring jabs, just setting up our target. When we get close enough, toss a jab cross in there, and then we're going to think about knees. 3 different types of knee strikes. We're going to have our straight long knee. It's going to look like this. We're going to drive through the hip, sending that knee forwards as the shoulders go back, and then returning back to orthodox position. Straight long knee there. We've practiced it before, but in case you're rusty, Muay Thai stance. You're going to step into that center line. You're going to swing through the hip and send that hip and knee straight forwards, bringing the foot close to the booty. Oosh, boom, and letting the shoulders go back. Notice the shoulders move back on this one as the hips go forwards. Arm's going to chop on the same side as the leg that's kicking, as the knee that's swinging. That's always the rule. So if you're throwing from the opposite side, boom, it's going to be that arm on the same side as the leg. So there it is in orthodox position. Long knee. Boom, there it is. In southpaw position, I'm rusty, as most of us probably will be. Boom, there it is. And back to stance. So we've got the long knee down. Now we're going to talk about the angled knee. Angled knee, we're going to bring the ankle and the knee up on one plane. Kind of bring them up together. And then we're going to torque our body in the opposite direction of the knee that's coming in. So our upper torso is going to go in. We're going to keep that guard high. We're going to chop diagonally this time because it's a diagonal knee strike. We'll be stepping in, bump, bump, step in, torque diagonally, and rotate in the hips. The hips are coming in this way. Boom. The top half of the body is going in the opposite way. You can think of it like a clamp. Our upper body is the top half of the clamp going this way. The lower body is the other half. Boom. And we want to clamp them together to bring that knee in nice and smooth. Boom. Right there into the rib cage of that depression dummy. We'll be executing that from orthodox stance and then switching stance and boom from southpaw, which again, I need the practice as well. And that's why this is our daily dose of progress and success, because we all get to benefit from it. So don't worry if you're rusty. Don't worry if it's not smooth, if you don't have the height or the flexibility yet. Over time, you will get those things with consistency. Shout out to Ken, Lupine Ken, Slayer Ken out here. 240 days of progress. Proud of you, brother. Good stuff. Keep on pushing forwards. Keep on fighting. And I'm proud to fight by your side as a mental health warrior out here. As we wipe out depression, not just for ourselves, but for others in the process. So let's talk about those knees a little bit. What did we cover? We covered the jab cross. We covered movement a little bit, right? Movement. We covered the long knee coming in, going through the guts of that depression dummy. We covered the angled knee, torquing in the opposite direction, chopping diagonally, hitting the rib cage, boom. And now we're going to talk about a knee to the chin. Nice high knee right up the center line, right into the chin. So for that one, we're going to come out of the jab cross. We're going to swing this arm straight down. We're going to shift our body weight towards that front foot and send that knee swinging straight up high, nice and sharp. Shift, chop that arm down, whoosh, boom, and then bring that knee up and then right back to stance. So step forwards onto that front foot, load, right? Reach across the face of the enemy. Drive that hand down as the knee comes up. And nice and sharp, boom, back to stance. That's our high knee right into the chin. Thanks, Ma. Ma says, keep up the good work. Appreciate you. So we've got a couple different knees. Ken says, thanks, bro. Same goes for you. Forever grateful to have you as a friend. Heck yeah, brother. We're all friends out here, building new friendships, positive social support, growth-minded social support system, and that can be a lifesaver at times. I know for me too. It's an amazing tool. It's amazing that we can connect with each other and support each other even when we're physically maybe alone in a random location like the middle of the desert or on the top of a mountain or something, we could still connect for this time, build each other up, and get that dose of social support at the same time. So super thankful for all of you guys out there. That being said, let's get back into it. We talked about jab, cross, long knee, angled knee, and high knee. Boom. All of those things we're going to employ in these next 3 rounds. We'll make it semi-technical. So it might not be super high intensity today. Reason being, I'm moderating to my skill level to today's day, to challenge myself today. Why is it less intensity? I didn't get enough sleep last night, and I haven't eaten breakfast yet. So those things are going to affect me. They're going to lower my performance. I'm going to set reasonable expectation for myself. Ideally, no expectation, right? Ideally, no expectation at all. But if I am going to push, I do want to challenge myself and not exceed that challenge. So staying in present, in tune with the moment, grounding ourselves here and being realistic with what we expect, if we're going to expect at all, of ourselves in the present moment is what we're aiming for. Yesterday's numbers don't matter. Tomorrow's numbers don't matter. It's about progress and being part of that process. So I'm going to dial my intensity down. We're going to work on flowing through those movements. We're going to work on adding in those knees and thinking about where they make sense. Where do those knees make sense in martial arts theory, as well as where do they make sense when it comes to the mechanical movements of our body and which move feeds the next move. So that flow state is a great thing to get. Once you get it, it feels amazing. It's actually defined as a eustress experience if you want to check it out. But I've already talked enough for today's session. So let's get this thing going. We're here right now, Stranger Beats from SACKLIFE Official. And if you add it to a training track, we will add it to the main page. Just give us a tag and we can all help each other raise awareness. Make a positive impact out here. All right, that's enough talking. Let's get this thing going. Make sure you've got water. Make sure you're breathing in the nose and out the mouth on those strikes. Go ahead and pop into your Muay Thai stance. And let's start by simply moving forwards and backwards. Rolling those hands, keeping the rhythm, keeping the knees bent, right? Sinking in a little bit, sinking on those knees. Making it nice and easy. Square up those shoulders, square up those hips with that depression dummy in front of you and keep it moving. Find that flow, find that pace, find that rhythm. If you want to go to the left or the right, that's fine. Just move one foot at a time and keep it flowing, right? Find that pace, sink into it, sink on those knees, roll the hands, tuck the chin, and keep it nice and flowy. Now you can throw some measuring jabs here as you move forwards and backwards. You can toss that measuring jab out, measuring the distance from you to your opponent, setting up all of those strikes. And we know from the jab, once we set up with the jab, if we can touch him, we can rotate right on through, bashing through the face with a cross. So let's practice that just to start. Stepping in, we're measuring, we're not turning through the hips or waist, we're just sending that fist out to find that distance, keeping the guard high as we move. Once we find that distance, rotate through for the cross, boom, and back to stance, and keep it moving, keep it fluid, sink on those knees, one foot at a time, right? Front foot if we're moving forwards, rear foot if we move back. It's Aaliyah. Thank you, Aaliyah, for being here. Appreciate you. Sink on those knees in Muay Thai stance. And we're practicing movement. We're throwing measuring jabs. And we're about to throw a cross, make contact, throw that cross, and back to stance. Keep it going. Now we're going to add from here. As we get close, we're throwing those measuring jabs. We made contact. Rotate through for the cross. We'll pretend we made contact here as well, and we're going to drive a long knee. That's our longest knee strike. Drive it through the hip, shifting the body weight forwards. We're letting the shoulders go backwards as those hips go forwards and sending that knee into the guts of that depression dummy. Now I'm going to change angle so you can get a better idea of the hip motion. But here's what it's going to look like. Stepping in with that measuring jab, right? Measuring jab, measuring jab, measuring jab, measuring jab. We made contact, rotate through for the cross. Now we're going to drive that hip forward as the shoulders go back to maintain balance. Keeping the chin tucked will aid as well in the balance. And then re-square up with that opponent, squaring up the hips and shoulders, visualizing that target. Step in for the jab, rotate for the cross, long knee through the guts. Whoosh, boom, and back to stance. When we bring that knee up, we want to bring the foot as close to the booty as possible, pointing those toes back and driving through the hip. Let's do it again. Step in for the jab, cross, long knee, and back to stance. Keep it moving. Thinking about those distances, right? Measure, measure, measure. We made contact. Rotate for the cross, long knee, and back to stance. Keep it moving, moving back, moving forwards. 1 foot at a time. Roll those fists for the guard, curl those shoulders, curl those hips, tuck that chin, and keep those knees bent. You got it. Keep going. Jab, cross, long knee. And that's the end of round 1. Catch your breath, drink some water. If it was too technical and you're not getting that high intensity workout, moderate to your level. You can adjust the intensity of your strikes. You can adjust the volume of your strikes. So when I'm moving and explaining, if you're already a step ahead of the game, you can be tossing other shots out as well, keeping that cardio up. We got 31 seconds before we pop into the next session. And it's just gonna get more complicated in this one from here. But remember, go at your level. If it's too complicated, just stick to the jabs and crosses, stick to the movement and the things that are working for you, and then slowly add in these other tools. Here we go, 6 seconds, pop back into stance, visualize that depression dummy. Step in for the jab, rotate through for the cross, and now this time, what I want you to do is shift the body weight over onto that front foot, and we're gonna bring the ankle and the knee up on the same plane, boom, and we're gonna torque for a diagonal strike, boom, an angled knee right to the rib cage of that depression dummy. Let's get back into it. Pop into stance. Shout out to Lisa. I see you, Lisa. Pop into stance. Find that flow. Find that rhythm. Step in for the jab. Rotate for the cross. Now we're going to chop for the diagonal knee. Boom. Shifting that body weight onto the front foot and driving that knee into the rib cage of that depression dummy. Step in for the jab. Rotate for the cross. Diagonal knee. And back to stance. Remember, with the straight knee, the knee's coming straight up. That long knee is going straight through. Boom. Keeping the guard high at all times on the opposite hand. For the diagonal knee, same thing. We're stepping off, but instead of the knee going straight forwards and through, we're bringing them up together on one plane. Ankle and knee up on one plane. I'm going to chop, boom, in opposite directions with that top half and bottom half of the body. Let's link it together, make it smooth. Jab, cross, angled knee, boom, back to stance. Jab, cross, angled knee, boom, back to stance. Jab, cross, angle knee, back to stance. Now we're gonna throw that long knee in again. Step in, jab, cross, long knee, oos, and back to stance. Jab, cross, angle knee, and back to stance. Now we're going for the head. We're going for that chin strike to knock him out, knock him off balance. Step in for the jab, rotate for the cross. Let's pretend that he slipped on that cross and it just deflected, right? What we're gonna do, we're gonna send this knee straight up the center line, right underneath his guard, right? He just put his guard up, he deflected the punch. We're gonna send that knee straight up underneath that guard into the chin of that depression dummy. So let's reset, step in for the jab, rotate for the cross. Let's pretend he slipped it, and now we're gonna chop this arm down and shift that body weight, driving that knee right up the center line into his chin for that knockout knee strike, chin strike there. Step in for the jab, rotate for the cross, pretend it got deflected, you're off balance. You're gonna keep that body weight going to the front foot here, and we're gonna chop down, driving that knee straight up the center line into the chin of that depression dummy. Back to stance, let's work it. Jab, cross is deflected, drive that knee up the center line. Stepping into southpaw if you like to get up more aggressive with it, or returning back to orthodox if you want to reset and keep that pace, keep that rhythm, keep that distance between you and your opponent. Step in for the jab, cross, long knee, whoosh, back to stance, jab, cross, angle, angled knee, back to stance, jab, cross, high knee to the chin, boom, boom, knee to the chin, back to stance, and that's the end of round 2. In round 3, we'll start swapping over, boom, to southpaw position. And again, if it gets too complicated, stick with orthodox and go at your pace. Find your level, find what challenges you to today's skill level. Woo. And make sure you're drinking water and staying hydrated out there. Shout out to Gus, appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. All right, we got 34 seconds. We're gonna pop into Muay Thai stance again. We're gonna continue moving around, using that jab cross, boom, boom, boom. But now we're gonna switch stances. Sometimes we can switch stances just to break up the rhythm, boom, 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 and just throw our opponent off, or we can switch stances after a combo, like you saw with that high knee, stepping in and getting more aggressive with it, keeping that pressure on the enemy. but we're gonna work up on that switch stance position. So here's orthodox, dominant hands in the back. Southpaw, everything is mirrored. Same exact movements, everything just switches to the opposite sides. So let's work on those knee strikes from southpaw. First, we're in orthodox position. Go ahead and swap it. Boom, everything's in southpaw now. Step in for the jab, rotate for the cross, and now we're gonna chop for a long knee. Send that knee straight forwards. As the hips go back, keeping the guard high on the opposite side. Back to stance, southpaw stance here. Everything's reversed. Step in for the jab, the cross, now chop for the long knee. Boom, and back to stance. Guard high on the opposite side. And we're gonna work it a few more times. Jab, cross, long knee. Let those shoulders go back as the knee goes forwards. Jab, cross, long knee. Boom, back to stance. Now we're gonna work on the angled knee. It's something I need to work on from southpaw stance. Jab, cross, and we're gonna chop on a diagonal angle, bringing the ankle and foot up, the ankle and the knee up on the same plane as we shift our weight onto that front foot. Let's do it. Here's our cross. We just ended in cross position. Boom, and we're torquing in and back to stance. Jab, cross, angled knee. Boom, and back to stance. Jab, cross, angled knee. Boom, and back to stance. Jab, cross, angled knee, back to stance. Want to bring that guard in and keep the guard tight when we're tossing that knee as well so we don't get punched in the face. Jab, cross, angled knee, back to stance. Jab, cross, angled knee, back to stance. All right, step in for the jab, the cross, long knee. Still in southpaw position here. Jab, cross, angled knee. Angled knee, and now we're going for that headshot. Step in for the jab, the cross, and chop. Send that knee straight up that center line into the face of that depression dummy. Back to southpaw stance. Keep it moving. Step in for the jab, rotate for the cross, chop for the long knee. Whoosh! Letting the shoulders go back as the hips move forwards. Back to stance. Jab, cross, chop for the angled knee now. Whoosh! Boom! Into the rib cage. Don't worry if it goes bounce. Tuck and reset. Let's try again. Jab, cross, angled knee, and back to stance. Now we're going for that high knee to the face from southpaw. Jab, cross, high knee to the face, back to stance, and keep it moving. Jab, cross, high knee to the face, back to stance. Southpaw position. Jab, cross, high knee to the face, back to stance. Switch it up. Orthodox. Step in, jab, cross, long knee. Bam, jab, cross, angled knee now. Jab, cross, angled knee. Back to stance, jab, cross, high knee. Boom, and switch over to the southpaw. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. Jab, cross, long knee. Jab, cross, angled knee. Jab, cross, high knee to the face. Back to stance, orthodox. One more time. Boom, back to stance. Angled knee this time. High knee to the face. And that is the end of our third round. Ooh, our somatic healing session to wipe out depression. Hopefully you're testing out some new tools. And Carmen said the decks looks good. Thanks, Carmen. Appreciate that. And Master Checo's in the house along with Southpaw Cuts. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, for the support. I hope you guys are learning new tools and new ways to help yourself get stronger every single day. Not just physically, but mentally. And remember, the process is the goal. Progress is the goal. Those long-term goals, they'll come with time, just as side effects. Just as a side effect of being consistent and staying dedicated. So even if you've only took 1 minute today to work out, even if you only did this class for 1 round, or you even threw 1 punch, that's 1 punch more than the competition, right? That's 1 step ahead of the competition, and that's 1 step further in your progress in life. So keep going. There's no limit to how much progress we can make when progress is the goal, and you'll be able to enjoy that daily dose of success every single day. Then just stick to it. Until next time, I'll catch you guys same sack time, same sack channel, same sack life. Sack man out.